Hey guys, Sean here and welcome to the F1 Word, powered by planetf1.com. Now, did you know Lewis Hamilton has moved to Ferrari for 2025? I know, right? They've kept that one quiet. Well, this week he visited Maranello and we got our first glimpse of the 7-time world champion in the red of the Scuderia. So, what has he been up to over the last few days and what's next on the agenda for Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari? First up then, as I'm sure you all know by now, Lewis Hamilton officially became a Ferrari driver on January 1st and made his first visit to the team's headquarters on Monday, where the team released some photos, some of which were taken outside Enzo Ferrari's iconic house. Described by the team as a total immersion program, Hamilton drove the simulator and got to know his new colleagues, including race engineer Riccardo Ademi, and began to get to know how the Scuderia operates. All of that was followed on Wednesday by some track time as the Brits racked up 30 laps in the team's 2023 car, and that even included some pit stop practice as well as getting to understand plans A to L in the team's race strategy guide. Okay, yeah, you got me, I made that last part up, sorry. Whilst we're talking track time though, I've got to say it was so weird seeing him in the red of Ferrari and number 44 on the car. That is going to take some getting used to, although I did absolutely love his yellow crash helmet. A real callback to his early F1 career. Anyway, in the team's press release about the day, Hamilton is quoted as saying that driving a Ferrari car for the first time was one of the best feelings of his life, adding that he had a big smile on his face as he drove through the garage doors, hopefully not literally, before going on to say, I already knew from the outside how passionate the Ferrari family is, from everyone in the team to the Tifosi, but to now witness it firsthand as a Ferrari driver has been awe-inspiring. That passion runs through their veins and you can't help but be energised by it. I'm so grateful for the love I have felt from everyone in Maranello this week. We have a lot of work to do, but I cannot wait to get started. As well as seeing him on track for the first time and the official, at least, confirmation that his race engineer will be Riccardo Ademi, who has worked with Carlos Sainz and 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel in the past, of course. It has also been reported that he will reunite with former trainer Angela Cullen at Ferrari, who has joined Hamilton's Project 44 company and will work as part of a performance team led by Hamilton's race director Mark Hines. But what's next, I hear none of you cry. Well, he already has a second test booked in as he takes to the track at Barcelona in late January for some Pirelli tyre testing. Very exciting. He will then be presented to the world as a Ferrari driver during F1's big 75th anniversary Eleganza Extravaganza on February 18th at the O2, where we get to enjoy last year's cars, or who knows, maybe even some show cars in this year's liveries. So excited. Once that is all out of the way, Hamilton will be back on track on February 19th as he and teammate Charles Leclerc will shake down Ferrari's official actual real 2025 car, dubbed Project 677, as part of a filming day at Fiorano where, as I'm sure many of you will know, only 100 kilometres are permitted, but it will at least give them and the whole team a better understanding of the new car. Now, the next couple of things will shock you to your very core. I'd apologise for the sarcasm, but I wouldn't mean it. He will then join everyone else at the pre-season test in Bahrain on the 26th to 28th of February, where we might possibly, perhaps, maybe start to get an idea of where everyone is at ahead of the new season. You know what testing is like by now. Of course, he will share driving duties with Leclerc, and although nothing has been announced just yet, it is highly likely, pretty much guaranteed really, that they'll be getting a day and a half each of running. And once testing is done in Bahrain, guess what? That's right, it'll be time for all the talking and desperate winter filler to stop as Hamilton, Leclerc, Ferrari and everyone else rocks up in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix and the start of the 2025 F1 season with the lights out for that first race on the 16th of March. So, a very quick turnaround then, something Fred Vasseur alluded to when talking to F1.com about Hamilton's pre-season preparations. It's a very short period. At the end of the day, you have the launch of the car on February 19th, and then we are going directly to Bahrain for the first test and to Melbourne. It means this will be a rush, but I'm not worried at all. He is coming with experience of this. He did almost 20 seasons in F1, and he will manage perfectly this period. Although naturally the focal point given his high-profile move to the Italian team, Hamilton wasn't the only one to hit the Fiorano track this week as teammate Charles Leclerc, remember him, also pumped in some laps, 14 to be precise, bringing the team's total lap count to 44. Following their runs, both drivers took the time to meet the fans who had gathered in the damp and cold conditions at the circuit, and after his time in the car, Leclerc said it was a great feeling after the holidays and that it was good to be back on track before adding, Of course, it was nice to be able to see Lewis driving his first laps in a Ferrari, which was a special moment for the team and for him. Now, I'm looking forward to being back in the car next week and to really start working hard for the coming season. Now, looking a bit further ahead than just testing and the first race, it's a big year for Ferrari, and with the 2025 car being completely new, as revealed by Fred Vasseur recently, the team is clearly throwing everything at the upcoming season, the final one before the big rules reset. Obviously, that could go either way. They may build a beast of a car and challenge for the titles, or it could be a shocker and they struggle to get anywhere near the front. Naturally, I'm hoping the former is the case, not least because that could set us up for a thriller of a season. So, the big question, at least in the British media, is could we be looking at an 8th world title for the Brit in 2025? Well, even if the team builds a dominant car, it's still going to be very tough for him. However, as mentioned in my unnecessarily early 2025 predictions video last week, if the Scuderia does build a car capable of challenging for the title, I think it would be very foolish to completely rule Lewis Hamilton out. He's been here before, he's had a tough few years, but that doesn't mean he can't do it again. That said, Leclerc is already well settled at the team and has been very much their focal point over the years. He is one of their juniors after all. He's also incredibly rapid and so will be a very difficult driver for Hamilton to beat. That's not to say he can't do it or won't do it, but as I say, it won't be easy. And as we know, for one reason or another, he was beaten by George Russell last season at Mercedes, actually twice in the last 3 seasons, and suffered the worst championship finish of his career in 2024. Many of you, I'm sure, will argue that that shows he is on the way down as a driver and that he has no chance up against someone like Leclerc, and that even the talk of an 8th title is absolutely bonkers. But I'd argue that could all leave him feeling he has something to prove heading into this season, which might see him revitalised for one more push for another title. Yeah, okay, ifs and buts and maybes and all of that, but that's all we've got to go off in January, and we'll soon see what happens. What I will say, though, is that the team have got the best lineup on the grid in terms of proven talent, speed and experience, which should see them in a great position to challenge again if the car is good enough to do so. We'll get answers to all of this very soon. Of course, the new season isn't as far off as it may feel right now, but one thing is for sure, Leclerc versus Hamilton is going to be fascinating to watch unfold this year, and you know, if they are battling for the title, it could well get very tasty indeed. Roll on Australia. Anyway, enough of my Ferrari propaganda for today. That is it for this one, but let me know down in the comments your thoughts on Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton's first official week together, what they might achieve this year, and whether or not you're used to seeing him in the red of the Scuderia yet. As I said earlier, it's going to take some getting used to. And of course, for the latest news, reaction and analysis from the world of Formula One, head on over to planetf1.com. Now, super quickly, I know a few people have been raising concerns about Elizabeth, for example, doing some content on the channel. Just to reiterate the point again, I am not going anywhere. Don't worry. It's just a little bit of extra content through the winter, and there'll be lots to come from me over the next few weeks, and of course, as the season gets going. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.